When I was 10 years old, my father sat me down and he said, "Son, if you work hard enough, you'll have enough financial success to have a nice house with a white picket fence, a fancy car, a few kids, a loving family, and the ability to live comfortably." But this idea of the American dream is no longer, and in fact was never true for so many Americans. There's this idea that if you're not successful, that means that you didn't work hard enough. But is my aunt, who like millions of Americans, worked 3 jobs just to stay above the poverty line, not as hard of a worker as the boy who grew up in an affluent family, attended an Ivy League college, and then landed a 6-figure job? No, there's something that separates these two examples, but it's not the work ethic, it's the opportunity. And there are so many opportunities that people have been taking advantage of to garner success for so long. Opportunities such as having a nice school district. Opportunities such as having resources for their mental health. And if we look at the American dream, one of the big ones is having that nice house with the white picket fence. Because with this house comes a community that fosters prosperity. Prosperity such as a nice schooling district, healthy foods, and the economic growth. But for so many Americans, for so long, they never had access to these housing opportunities, no matter how hard they worked. For blacks, the American dream started off with slavery, where by rule of law, they were unable to live freely, let alone own a home. And even after slavery, segregation such as redlining inhibited African Americans and other minorities from having access to these nice communities. And if you think that this is just a thing of the past, research shows that 2/3 of the neighborhoods that were deemed hazardous are still mainly minorities today. And 85% of the best neighborhoods are still primarily white. Now let's assume that neighborhoods were open to everybody. Not everybody can actually afford to live in these nice communities. It would take the average minimum wage worker 127 hours a week just to afford the average modest apartment in America. And if they're spending so much of this money on their housing, then they can't afford the things that we take for granted and that we thrive upon, such as healthy foods for a healthy lifestyle, resources for our mental health, and resources for our children. Without affordable housing, we're not giving justice to the people of low income. This idea and this problem of affordable housing actually popped up right here in our own backyard of Amherst. Last year, there was a bill that wanted to build an affordable housing unit right on Northampton Road, up the street by the football field, and give so many people the resources that we've been thriving upon for years. But some of the community members had hesitations. One of our own Amherst professors stated that she would be worried she'd find needles in her backyard, which is a gross overgeneralization, thinking that the word low income would automatically bring about hard drugs. And the man across the street, Tom Atteridge, stated that he would be worried it wouldn't bring enough character to the neighborhood, which is preposterous, seeing as though the amount of diversity it would bring would be great for the neighborhood. And it seems as though the hesitation, the root of this hesitation comes from this idea that, and this belief that people worked hard to live in a community like Amherst, and they don't want the people associated with low income coming in, infiltrating their neighborhood, and mixing with their children. When in reality, these people, these firefighters, these nurses, everybody who's moving in are hard workers but didn't have the opportunity and the resources that we had to succeed. Now, thankfully, after much turmoil, Amherst decided to fund this project and give so many resources to the people that need it. But think about if houses and communities across America, like Amherst, decided to adopt this sort of openness. Think about the sense of community, the social connection, the sense of security it would give to so many families across America, so many hard-working families. And think about that mother who's working endlessly to pay for her kids' education, inching one step closer to her goal. Now, I want to zoom out for a second because affordable housing is not the only way that people are trying to access equal opportunities to hardworking Americans. There are so many projects such as minimum wage increases and public school renovations. I want people like us, the people and students and faculty of Amherst College, to educate ourselves and to support these sort of systems so that next time when an opportunity such as the affordable housing project comes into our community, we don't hesitate. We don't hoard our resources, and we share. I want us to educate and support these resources so that one day, when we talk about the American dream, we're talking about an American reality.